Hello, my name is Kendra Corey, and I did my applied project on the effects of a visual cue card on man frequency. So, the rationale behind my research is that manding is an essential skill for communication. Manding allows us to request for our wants and our needs and express ourselves, and children with autism often have trouble with manding. Increasing man frequency increases reinforcement, which then strengthens behavior. In turn, it can potentially decrease frustrations and decrease potential maladaptive behaviors. My research question was, will the presence of an I want visual cue card increase the frequency of mans for Josh? Josh is my 4-year-old client. Josh is a pseudonym. He is diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. The study was conducted in a clinical setting. It the structure of the clinic runs similarly to that of a school where children transition from activity to activity with each other. Each child has an RBT who provides ABA services one-on-one. Josh is my client. I see him every weekday for 5-hour sessions. The social validity behind this study is that Josh manded at low levels. He often would engage in maladaptive behaviors. He would get frustrated because his wants and his needs weren't being effectively communicated. So, by implementing this study, it would allow him to enhance his communication skills and reduce potential maladaptive behaviors. Previous literature investigated using visual cue cards in combination with script training to increase the frequency of certain behaviors. Matson et al. Wanted to increase the frequency of social statements using visual cue cards and script training, and they did. And Ganz et al. Investigated the effects of visual cue cards and social scripts on verbal communication, and they found that it increased verbal communication. So the methods, the study was an A-B design. The independent variable was an I want visual cue card. The dependent variable was man frequency. Frequency was collected over 5-hour sessions, so frequency data. In the baseline procedure, any independent vocal man for an item or an activity was recorded with a tally mark. All mans that required prompting or non-vocal mans were not recorded. So if a man required me to model it, or if I needed to say this, or an indirect verbal, not recorded. We're aiming for independent vocal mans. In the intervention procedure, a visual cue card was introduced. It is a bright green card with large I want bolded letters on it. And the purpose of doing this is to achieve stimulus control through stimulus shaping. The bright green, the large letters is hopefully increases the likelihood of an independent response because it is very noticeable. I wanted Josh to understand that reinforcement is available given a man. So if he saw that, it may be a cue to a man. So the cue card would be within 2 feet of the client at all times and completely in sight, visible at all times. All independent vocal mans for items and activities given the presence of the cue card would be recorded with a tally mark. Mans requiring additional prompts or non-vocal mans would not be recorded. So as you can see in the results, man frequency occurred at low levels ranging from 3 to 4 independent mans per session in the initial baseline. This is a 5-hour session, so 3 to 4 vocal mans is low levels of independent mans. So in the first session, he manded 4 times, second 3, and the last 2 4 times. After introducing the intervention, His man frequency increased from 13 to 18 mans per session. The first session, he increased to 13 independent vocal mans given the cue card. Second, 15. The third and fourth, 17. And the fifth session, 18 independent vocal mans. At this point, it was time to return to baseline, where his man frequency decreased, ranging from 6 to 8 independent vocal mans. The first session was 7, the second 6, and the third 8. Now it was time to reintroduce the intervention, where man frequency increased, ranging from 18 to 22 vocal mans. First session 18, second session 19, third session 22, and the fourth 20. Results indicated that the presence of a visual cue card was effective at increasing man frequency. So as you can see, the return to baseline stage was slightly elevated. I hypothesize that this is due to residual effects of the intervention. As we discussed earlier, manding, increased frequency of manding increases levels of reinforcement. They're requesting for these reinforcing items and they receive these reinforcing items. Therefore, it strengthens the behavior and the likelihood of the behavior occurring in the future. So because the intervention phase was short, it was 5 sessions, it does show that there is a learning pattern, but it's not completely learned, as it did decrease in frequency. And when reintroduced, it increased significantly as well. Given more time, I feel that the man frequency would continue to increase. This moves me to the limitations of the study. The time frame of the study was limited. The study consisted of 16 sessions with 4 phases to do in those 16 sessions. The baseline, the intervention, the return to baseline, and return to intervention. So another thing that was limiting to the study was that I couldn't account for the participants' unplanned cancellations. There were a couple instances where the client Josh canceled, and it does limit the time frame. We would have had 2 additional studies to add to our intervention phase. If I were to replicate the study, I would extend the time frame till each phase of data remains stable. And future studies can replicate this study by having a larger time frame. And maybe a more diverse population, multiple participants, and see how effective it is and how high the levels of man frequency can get. Overall, the study demonstrated that a visual cue card was an effective prompt for increasing the frequency of manding. And some of the references I used were Cooper et al., Ganz et al., and Matson et al. Thank you.